Mr. Fehrenbrock.
Yeah. Yeah, how are you guys this morning?
We're doing great, thank you.
Yeah, I'm Larry Farmbrook. I'm from Atwood, and I do handle your guys' Legal Shield account, and I do have quite a few guys from Road and Bridge and stuff on it, and the identity theft service and the legal service. So, but I've added another service to my book of business. It's and I do know you guys are fringing some services, medical flight services and stuff for your employees, which I think is a good deal. But I just wanted you to listen to this company. I picked up on this company a couple years ago in my Southern accounts, Southern Colorado, at open enrollments. And the one thing, if you open up the folder, the thing that really interested me on this was any ground, any air, anywhere in the United States or Canada, they're offering to groups for $14 a month for each employee and their family. So $160 a year covers any flight, any ambulance. So and I did a lot of research. I had, like I say, they've started showing up in my open enrollments. They just started their group business. They've been in business since '74, and they basically sold a worldwide plan, a personal worldwide plan for around $60 a month, which means you can be anywhere in the world and have emergency services paid for. And they've started this deal in the United States. Now, if you take out the red sheet underneath here, there are 3 services. There's a platinum service, which is worldwide, and it covers organ transplant and return patients and everything. The $14 plan, it covers any flight, any ground, and a return flight home. If you're hospitalized like in Wichita and you're able to come home to a swing bed or something, and you're not able to come home in a car, we'll arrange transportation back for you. And that's included in the service. Now, I've seen some of the other competitors starting to offer that service, but they're wanting more money per year. But ours is $14 a month or $160 a year. Or you can provide ground emergent, which is just the ground transportation, for $9 a month. Now, the one thing that goes on is the $14 and the $9 plan is only good in a group atmosphere. If the people have it and they move on and they can't get into another group, they can upgrade to the $39 plan and take it out of their account. The $14 plan is only good while they're in this group. Participating group. And one of the criteria of the group is it be a payroll deduction, has to offer insurance. Doesn't mean the people have to take your insurance, but you have to offer it. Because the $16 plan relies on insurance, but we can't say that all your employees have to take it. You guys just have to offer it.
Okay, that was my question. Do you have a minimum amount of people that
we have 3 people to start a group, which is really. Now, I signed the broker papers on this a month ago. I sold for 7 days. I've got 100 people already apps and 6 contracts.
So this is going to be, does it run January?
Well, ours runs any time.
So it's a year contract.
Well, now, okay, to get into the way that you guys can do it, I know you're fringing it. Now, if you was going to fringe it, we got what we call a census plan. Now, if you pay $160 a year for each employee, then you buy what we call slots. The slots, you own the slots. So if you cover all your employees. If one moves on, you keep that slot, you hire a new one, they just walk into that slot. See what I'm saying? But you own the slots. You actually own them.
So you're basing that on how many employees we have at the time of...
Yeah, eligible employees, what you want to call eligible employees. That's up to you, what you call eligible employees.
Right. And if we add to add slots, say like if we have 200 people and hire 10 more for service?
Okay, so if you pay 200 people, and the next year you have 10 more people when you do your, do your update, you only get charged for 205. They give you half upgrade. Now, if you go under 200, so let's say you go down to 198, then you only pay for 198. So, and there's been a few counties, I haven't, Rawlins and Decatur haven't done that yet, but I know Scott County, Kansas just signed a census plan, because they were like you, they were up for renew, so they liked this plan better, so they went with the census plan with ours because they see more of a value there. And I don't know it wasn't another one of my people done that. I don't know but I do know they signed a census plan. So, and the thing about it is I don't know when your guys' has run out, but the dates of whenever you set it up, it'd be on a year contract.
Both run out. We just renewed in January.
Yeah,
The two that we
yeah.
have.
And what I told Scott was that I wanted you guys to know about this plan because I understand that you're paying for two of them, and I don't know what you're paying for both of them, but they don't cover ambulances. And the thing about it is, the stories that I've heard in the last week. A banker in Atwood was hauled to Denver. Eagle Med paid for his flight. He had a subscription with him. When he got there, it was $5,000 for the ambulance, and it was out of network, and Blue Cross didn't pay for any of that.
Yeah.
And see, we settled that, picked that up
You mean the ambulance from the
airport to the hospital. See, because usually there's always an ambulance intertwined for this area, especially. Most time intertwined with the emergency. And the thing about it is, I just got an email, we are now paying for all ambulances, whether it's emergency or not.
So it doesn't matter what company or what service?
Yeah, anybody. We don't, I've had the question asked to me, how many planes do you own? Because Mid-Air Care brags about how many planes they control. We don't own any planes. We're worldwide. We have 8 Learjets, which we use for transportation from overseas back. Somebody's over there, needs to come home to recuperate. We got 8 Learjets that handle that and the organ transplants. Otherwise, we just settle with all the companies. We don't own any planes. And there's 1.6 million members, and last year in 2018, every claim was settled with no out-of-pocket money to any members.
So you're saying like AirMed picks somebody up, you pay them?
Yeah, we pay whoever pick you up. See, AirMed's got an alliance. They say they have and I've listened to their spiel, that's why I know. They say they have an alliance with 300 planes in Kansas, Oklahoma, Colorado, and Nebraska. Okay, but if you have Life Team from a Cook fly in here, AirMed Care ain't going to pay for them. If you have Good Samaritan from Kearney come in here, AirMed Care ain't going to pay for them. So the thing that goes on, I just wanted to lay this on the table for you, and you can do it as a payroll deduction, and you can also fringe part of it if you want, like, fringe part of it, and then the employee pays the rest of it, or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on the census plan, you do have to put $160 up front with the contract, and then that's every year you pay on your employee count, your eligible employee count. So.
Well, most interesting. How long has this service been available?
They started, the company's been in business since, was it 1974? Or 2004, 74, got my dates. But anyway, they started the group business about 2.5 years ago because they were just personal. They actually just sold to just personal people, especially a lot of overseas travelers and stuff, And so they started this group business, and they knocked it down to $14, but they didn't give you the whole package. They just give you any air, any ground, anywhere in the United States or Canada for your employees. So that's a big deal. If they're on vacation in California and something happens, they're covered out there.
What about in a death?
Well,
Is that
if you're over,
something-
yeah, they'll bring back the remains. Like overseas, we will haul them back.
Because I had a friend pass to Germany, and
It is a hassle, but
Time to
these,
get it home.
our people will go in and take care of it and bring them back.
so that's covered under the same.
Under the $39 plan, yes. Yes. And as far as in the United States, I'd have to get that question answered, like if, say somebody died in New York State, whether we would bring the remains back, I'd have to ask that question on the $14 plan.
But it will in other countries.
Yeah. And also on the $39 plan, it brings your pets back, and if you got your family members with you, make sure they get home. You're rigged to make sure your vehicle gets home and everything. Or if you need an organ transplant, we transfer the organs to wherever you need to be the transplant. All that's in the $39 plan.
You're saying that if there's, say my wife and I and another family member, I don't know, in say Mexico, Germany, somewhere,
Now bring them home. We'll bring you
bring
home.
them too.
And then one thing is, what I've been told is if you were in Germany yourself and got sick and your wife wanted to go see you, we will arrange for your wife to get there.
This almost sounds too good.
Well, it does, and I did a lot of research on it before I signed the broker papers, because I don't bring anything into my book of business unless I think it's good. I mean, I'm serious. I'm a local boy, and I don't,
Do you know of any counties around us that have this particular service in place now?
Well, I do know Ray out there's got it, Holyoke's got it, Burlington's got it, Scott County just took it up. They're just barely starting to move into Kansas here. The person that I'm under is actually from Fort Collins, Colorado, and I'm sure there's a lot of counties out there that have it. The Kansas Hospital and the Nebraska Hospital Association is both promoting it, so I do know it's going to be offered to the county hospital over here next week or the next week.
For their employees,
For their employees, but it's through, I'm not handling it through another broker, it's through the Kansas Hospital Association, but they are offering it all, and they're getting 40, 50, 60% from all the hospitals, signups.
And you said pets too?
Huh?
You said pets?
Yeah, it returns pets. If you got, the way it was explained to me when I went through my training webinar, the training guy from the company said, if you're a rodeo guy, something happened, they arrange to make sure all of your livestock gets back home. I mean, it's a good deal. On the $39, the upper grade plan is, but so is the $14 plan. $160 a year to be covered for everybody, everything. I mean, it's a huge benefit, and the census plan is a good value for you because it's something that if you hire somebody, that's a benefit that you got there. Say, that's part of, we got you covered right now as soon as you walk in.
Scott, you have any questions? You are the HR person.
I don't. I mean, it sounds very good.
It does
I
sound
wish
good.
in January we would have
Yeah.
done this. But
Yeah, the timing's kind of a little off for us.
Well, no, I understand. I totally understand, but I don't have a problem, when January comes around, we can negotiate,
Let's try this. We renew health insurance and that kind of thing. October we start. Would it be possible if you'd come back and talk to our employees?
Oh, sure, I come back, he knows I come back and talk to him about Legal Shield too,
yeah, exactly.
But, I don't have a problem with that.
Well, that way we could get some response from them and see.
Well, I'm doing Decatur County and Rawlins County right now. I got 12 up front out of Decatur County, and they have to have all their apps in by the 17th. There's 6 effective. Rawlins County, I got 15 up front. They're not supposed to be until the 15th. I mean, I haven't finished that deal up, but everybody, and a lot of them people, some of them are going to do it, but they want to let their other subscriptions run out. And some of them are just going ahead and signing up anyway, because, you know, if they got one plan, they want, you know, 4 different operators drop into Atwood. And, you know, I'll throw out VAP Construction Fringe for all of their employees. Beaver Valley, I just done them. I got 90% of all them people, and that was a payroll deduction.
Well, I must say it's very intriguing. We will have to do some discussions with this, but
This is what you pay right now.
yeah, I was going to add that up.
But, you know, I just, you know, I'm kind of like you. I sit, well, I had last year on the 6th of April, I had a heart cath. They poked a hole in my arteries. So they flew me they didn't have the right surgeon at Hayes, so they patched the hole and stabilized me and had to send me to Salina to have my heart sac cleaned out, you know. And $47.5 for that flight. Now, I just got on Medicare, and I can tell you what they'll pay, and all the insurances pay off that. Maybe you guys already know. They paid $8,900. My supplement paid the rest of the way up to $10,000. That's all Medicare allows for any flight. So I was lucky. I had a plan that I bought from a guy because he bought an identity theft service from me. He was working for another company when I was down in Central Colorado, and I was lucky. One of them picked me up. Otherwise, I'd have been stuck for the rest of the bill, and I'm honest with you. And then I got to thinking, any air, any ground, anywhere. So I started doing some research. And then I found out I could get onto this company as a broker because I've got 135 groups already with Legal Shield. I've got several thousand already in my book of business. So they allowed me to come on as a broker. So that's why I'm providing it to you guys, you know, as a broker service in my book of business. So anyway, you know, I mean, I appreciate you guys listening to me. I think it's a good deal. If you want me to come back and visit with the people before.
Well, we'll have some discussions.
Yeah, I think we need to discuss it, but I just want to ask you this. If we want to wait till January, can employees sign up with you, like for a month, on their own?
Oh, they
Until
can,
January, or-
if they can, but, I mean, if you were gonna, well, we'd have to bring them in as a payroll deduction have that contract, and I can give you a copy of each contract, but then, you know, we'd probably have to change contracts, and I don't think that's an issue, because there's no,
Might just be easier to wait till.
well, you know, I guess kind of the way I've done it with Legal Shield before. I mean, this company kind of wants to have some commitment from the businesses, or they want me to have a contract signed before I promote it. But with Legal Shield, I used to always go in and make sure I had a group or, you know, had people, and then I come and had you sign the paperwork. You know, and I don't have a problem doing that. I can give a presentation and say, hey, and you guys decide whether you want to offer it as a payroll deduction, a fringe, a partial fringe, or a fringe. So when you give me that criteria to go with, that's the way I would present it. And then and at that time I could hand out applications, tell them whatever effective date you want it to be. And if it's in October and it's a January 1 effective date, that's what we would do. And we would get all the apps back in, and you know, we would process everything, write the contracts up, and send them in so they're effective January 1 or whatever date you pick.
Are you saying that, say for instance, we talk to the employees and say a third of them wanted to be on this, they could pay it themselves?
Yes.
And be on it, and then.
But still
would
under
it
the
be-
umbrella of the county employee. Because you said it had to be a participating group of a certain number.
Well, if you're gonna fringe everybody, you're gonna be
Oh,
more,
then it wouldn't matter.
it wouldn't matter. You're gonna be
I
more
see what
three.
you're saying. I see what you're saying.
But for me to establish a group, I mean, I know, well, I can't say this, but I will say, I believe I could get more than 3 people to sign up even on a payroll deduction right now. I mean, it might be a little tough, but I know some of the guys out at Road and Bridge, I think, they're pretty decent bunch out there. I mean, they're my largest part of my Legal Shield business, and they've been with me for I think I've been here, 5 years or something, 6 years or something like that I've actually had this account here, And the thing about on the identity theft, everybody's got coming in, getting a piece of the business, so mine is a little more expensive than any of the rest of them, so they're not so much interested in. I mean, if they can get covered with Aflac or Blue Cross and Blue Shield cheaper, they tend to go that way because of the finance situation. You guys know that. You understand what I'm saying? So, even though the product isn't as good. But this here, I think that's one heck of a deal, $14 a month for them. Now, the thing about it is, if they do move on, it doesn't, and on the census deal, if there's somebody in the deal that you pay for the $14 a month, and if somebody says, well, I'm going to take a trip overseas, I want the $39 one, then you can allow them to upgrade, and then it would come out of their paycheck. But you can put that in the contract whether you want to allow that or not. If you don't want to allow the upgrade, then they can't do it. But if they do move on to somewhere else, if they want to keep the service, the $14 a month one is not what we call portable. I think I went through that once. It's not portable. But if they want to keep it and can't find another group, they have to be raised to the $39 one and keep the service.
And they could work elsewhere.
Yeah, and take it out of their own check or their own bank account. They would not hook from you and just go out over on their own.
Right.
See, but the $14 one is only good when they're in a group. So,
Well, most
Sounds too
interesting.
good to be true.
Yeah, that's what I said.
well, it is. Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, but I tell you what, they're putting on the members. I mean, I had a guy, one of the business owners, said to me Saturday. He says, "Well, what are all these other guys around selling their service?" Well, we're not taking. We might be taking money away from him, the guy that's out here like me selling to you. But we're still, if they get a plan with us, we're guaranteeing their company's going to get paid. You understand what I mean? I mean, it's good for their company. Might not be good for the salesman like it's in my boot, but I just say, competition, it's competition.
Yeah.
And when something else comes out better, that's the position I like to be in, to sell a better product.
Well, let us discuss all this and see where we stand, and we'll have a discussion with Scott and our county attorney, who is missing today.
Yeah.
But-
Here, leave a folder for him. And let me, I'll just leave a couple of these contracts for you. And, he can read them. They're pretty up forward. That's the payroll deduction one.
She, by the way.
Huh?
She.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think I probably knew that. I'm sorry.
I'll leave this here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the annual census one. And I haven't had any of the other county attorneys. I know it's been read a couple times, so I haven't had anybody else have any problem with it. So,
Well,
but it does say on the census plan that you have to participate 2 years, but I've been told that if you go a year and want to quit, they don't come back and make you do the 2 years. If that bothers you in there, that's, you know what I mean? So, I have been told that, so. Anyway, thank you guys for your time.
thank you,
And
sir.
Thank you.
I hope I brought you some good information.
Yeah, I'm sure
'cause
you did.
I really do. I do think it's a good deal.
Well, we're always looking for ways to better this, and
Well, we're out here in this part of the country
yeah,
where
Well, and a couple of us experienced this,
Well, so have
Flight
I. I mean,
parole.
I've had them, and the thing of it is, I was in Salina. I was in Salina in the hospital for 2 weeks, and the flight company had already called me that hauled me, and when it called my daughter, because she was handling everything, and the bill was in her mailbox before I got out of the hospital from the flight company,
yeah.
$47,500. So.
Well, we know.
And all that stuff is unregulated, so that's why they can get away with what they're getting. Are you newspaper? Here you go.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'll give her a card too. There you go. Thank you, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
See ya.
See you.
Crap, Dave, I guess.
Probably pay about 120 now, don't we?
90.
Seems like it would be better even, it still covers the same ones that come here, so you're not actually taking anything away from them.
Though, but plans that are too good to be true are sometimes too good to be true.
Yeah, because pets and... But I had a friend who passed in Germany. He was on vacation out there, and man, he had to be cremated over there, and he had a heck of a time just getting his ashes floating back.
Well, personally, we've used 2 air flights, and we had the contract with Life Team, but another plane came because of availability, and is a mess.
Yeah, that's, time they flew me, had it with Eagle and what flight team? Is that the one that
We have AirMed and LifeSave.
Life Save,
yeah, that's it.
I know Ty, when he had that heart issue, they flew him to Denver. They didn't want to cover it, his insurance. It was from the airport to the hospital was $5,000.
We had 2 of those.
And it's about $1,000 from the Hayes airport to the Hayes hospital.
Yes, it is. It was 800 back then, but that's still a lot. Good morning, Dave.
Right, thanks.
Okay, on the road department side, you'll see this reimbursement. We paid for the crack sealing. So I turned, through this 90-10 program, I can get reimbursed on that. So I turned that amount in. So that's at $39,480 that you're seeing on that line item there.
Which one are we on?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can do so much work, it has to be road-related, specified projects in order to get this 90% funding back, so that's the reason I decided to turn it in, take use of the money for something else happens to it, so. And then also at the bottom, the state made a distribution fund. It's a quarterly distribution fund that we receive, so.
I did want to pass on a compliment. This is from Helen Dobbs, who is the China County Development Corporation. Big Kansas Roadshow is coming May 2nd through 5th, and they anticipate a lot of people going out into the county, three corners, breaks, and whatnot. And she said that she wanted to mention that the roads that she had checked out are in great shape, including the ones to three corners. She wanted to let everybody know that the road crews are doing a great job, so I thought I'd pass that on to you.
Good, thank you. Yeah, we're kind of keeping it. I wish we couldn't, they have so many signs that's being stolen up in that three corners, that's just frustrating, but
Yeah.
What's happening?
some signs are being stolen, you know, like, just not so much of ours, it's like the three-corner signs and the state line and stuff like that, because it's confusing when you get up there in no man's land, so.
And they just take them home?
I assume,
Somebody's got a collection in their garage or
Yeah.
something.
Well, I've got some of those, but not those.
and I know, seemed like Keith Dank brings somebody else, you know, it took a lot of time just to hand do some of them, just so they could give tourists, you know, a better direction on where they're going, but they come up gone, so that's frustrating, so. Been busy pulling curbs. We did get started elevating on a lot of them. Run the scraper, cleaned out a lot of ditches. Crazy, we had snow removal. We was working down on this end, and someone says, "You guys gonna kick snow off up north?" I didn't realize that we had that much snow up there that one day, but so we had to go up there, so. And then we've also gravelled, cleaning up some of that venture site. We gravelled that going through the hills towards Salem Church on Road 9. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I was out there the other day.
Yeah, some of it's a little clumpier, right south of Buffington's, but I think a couple bladings it'd be all right. So, and then there's some chunks that we're going to have to go back and pick up. So, other than that, there's a lot of stones showing up with that. That should work out well.
And I went out there to look at that culvert, and I couldn't find that culvert. I don't know what he was talking about.
I know where it is. I need to transit, and they've been improving on widening it. I've been checking some crown. I think we're gaining on that, if that's what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I was just
Yeah.
checking to see. I wasn't checking on you guys. I was just,
Yeah.
and then while we're talking about it, down there at Sligert's, they're still complaining to me. They think they need a culvert there in that south fill. I think we're gonna have a mess if we do it, but,
Did we not have that surveyed? Because I thought at one time
well,
we
we
were going
cleaned the
to.
ditches out real good here, just,
I know we got some shots where Kale come in and took some, you know, elevation charts and stuff like
To see
that.
which way the water was actually flowing, and
I know Miller, he said he was gonna have Miller look at it. When Gerald was up here, I know a couple months ago, he said there might be such thing, you know, that landowner wants to participate, you'd be wiser taking that asphalt into the driveways. So therefore, you don't have that dip or anything. And then if you put in some culverts, you know, at least it'll let some water through there. But
well, the worst of it is see, that's got an asphalt fill. Well, if we put a culvert in there, where are we gonna get the asphalt to seal it? I mean, you know, in a way. And I don't know how much water we're gonna drain. I do know now that we've cleaned the ditch, when it does rain, we have standing water there.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what to do. to
yeah,
tell
there's
him.
not an easy solution to that.
And the water comes down and that road is crowned, and then right there at their fill, it's pretty flat. And that's where the water crosses, right at the fill,
Yeah, it comes from south to north,
to
right?
north, right at that fill. And I don't know what we can do. I don't,
Yeah, it's always been a problem. It's a flood zone. It's difficult. So,
Yeah.
and it does when a big rain goes right down their driveway.
yeah.
And I really didn't think that big of a rain. Just so much water coming from up above.
That's the reason I'd rather see a U-shaped drive there and then divert it to the north.
Let's take that fill out there on the south of their place and let a ditch be there or something.
But see, I was thinking if you have a U-shaped drive, you know, and you have two drives on the south, but don't put plugs in, therefore your water would have to go north. The flood water would head that way. But
No, that would be completely on the county side of the road, so we'd have to bear all that.
the city's problem, we're inheriting it though.
Right. Well, we'll just have to keep kind of thinking on this.
I know, he said he was gonna visit with us sometime and he thought he had a better solution, so,
Well, he just talked to me the other day, and
okay, maybe.
but he didn't have a solution.
Okay,
Well, he did, wants to put a culvert in there on that south fill, and then he wants to put two culverts on that north fill so it can let more water out.
Does it run north? I mean, if we would put a culvert in there, is there enough room going north to hold water?
oh, as a rule, the north one carries a lot of water, yeah, because you're picking up both drainage areas from the south and also from the southeast. And I agree, if you put in a culvert and it's dry, the problem is the biggest you can put in is a 12-inch because of the capacity over the top of it. And then it was always plugging up before, that's the problem we had, and it was always diverting it. Then it's forcing everything to go in this drive, where we left it a little low now and it should go over the top of it, but
Yeah, not a great answer for any of it.
No, there's not.
I got one more estimate come back on that survey, but it sounds like, you know, over there by the county line, you know, it's gonna be around that $1,400, so, which I thought was reasonable, and we'd do the digging on it, so. J.W. Milliken talked to me this morning just a little bit. They approached the fair board about putting out a 24 by 40 tie-out, so all the animals come out of the livestock barn, and it'll go between the horse barn and the livestock barn. And they're gonna build a tie-out out there, they're gonna have it raised up and then put panels and things in there. Supposedly have enough funds from the 4-H groups to do that. They want someone to haul the material there. They asked if I would do it, and I said, it's up to you guys, but if I was to do it, I would take it out of the sewer ponds. It'd be a fairly close haul. So, some of that dirt there. It'd probably be raised up. Oh, I don't know. I didn't confirm his figures. I don't have them with me right now, but it'd be a couple feet raised on one end anyway, because it all kind of falls off that direction. But it'd be a permanent setup there, so.
I don't see a problem with that.
Okay, right in this area is where the new hangars are being built that I put in the blue,
In the square area.
in the squares. Okay, the question is the road. Originally, you know, we was wanting to go straight through with this, and then that got halted here. So we haven't decided whether we want to put the road through here or if we're going to go through an angle, and this is part of Grace's lease lot, and I haven't heard back from them if they're willing to do that, if they want us to put it there on the angle, or if we're going to put it on the straight. eventually, I still think we'll probably have if this keeps expanding, there'll be a street through here, and then we'll have to taper that due to that grass runway that runs right there. We can only be so close to it, and then come across that way. The other problem is, they're gonna be using this asphalt streets here. The city does no maintenance, anything on any asphalt on this area. The village has always paid for it. So we need to get this cleared up. Who's gonna pay for repair of this asphalt, and who's gonna put in this road, everything like that. And the next question is, you guys need to think about, he's trying to get an address on that. This is South College here, so then we thought about putting, like, this is the 700 block or 600 block, and this is the 800, and then this is the 900 block. But we think because there's a void in here, that's going to confuse people if we still call this South College. We thought about naming a street going east and west and maybe tie this into there or something, or use it all one street, if you put a name into that.
Just make the whole thing, everything you haven't read here, a separate name for a street.
I think this one here should be a separate one.
What, does the post office have anything to do with addresses?
911.
Not really. If it's a residence or something like that, I think they do. So,
The key will be 911. What they give them for a 911 address.
and the city, this is in the city limits to this point, from this point north. And they said that's fine if you want to name a road or something like that, whether you guys want to do the naming, who you want to do it. Who's in charge of it, and who's going to take care of the roads? That's kind of what we need to narrow it
That's
down
what we
to.
need to get back to. So the city's claiming,
That's all owned by, it was all owned by GSV.
yeah,
It's basically you own it.
and you're talking about just basic maintenance and I'm assuming maybe snow removal?
Well, as a rule, the Good Sam been removing snow in that area, but the dollar cost is going to be the road itself.
Right.
And if you want us to be building that, or you think the airport authority should, however,
Well, it sounds like we need to sit down with the airport board and the city council. And
well, the city council, they don't care, I don't think.
Only thing is, if you run up by the village and then go in, you're gonna have more trucks and more.
yeah, and that was one of the reasons
That's
that
gonna
brought
be
about the idea of coming around
Turn
the other
that
way.
up, and you will have more maintenance.
Because you're going to have hazmat material running through there and everything else. That was the idea behind moving it.
And where they goofed up on this survey, you know, the property line's actually further south and doesn't match this other road, you know, on this right south of here. That's the reason of my choice. I had put on a whole new road, you know, and move it all further south and line it up, as long as it didn't interfere with their water system there.
Well, I don't think we're gonna stop the hazmat material, because you got that amount going up to Grace's.
You're
And
gonna
all of a
have
sudden-
more though with,
Well, are you?
with
Yeah, with
the,
the new business, I would think you
But are
would.
they gonna, there's only so many acres get sprayed out of this area anyway. Yeah,
Yeah, you'll have a little more, but I don't think a whole lot, because
Not a
those
whole
delivery
lot.
trucks probably delivering there, and then they'll also be delivering the same thing over there.
we build a road here and a hazmat comes in this way, a hazmat's gotta come in this way to the other part of the airport.
Yeah.
To me, here's the cheap way right here. That Angle Road,
Okay.
that's my feeling. Because this road here is gonna be very narrow, there's not much room between those.
Well, yeah, some of this,
Building and,
yeah, some of this property would have to be purchased from the equity to line this all up and remove a gas meter if it eventually went that way. So while you're making suggestions, you want to name a road too?
yeah, but Airport Drive.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me either.
This is a grass,
That's a grass runway.
is that mostly for the air, for the people who spray?
I don't know if you guys been up there and looked around, I'm sure you have. There's some big terraces right in there. Doesn't turn water, I don't,
And they've always been there.
That's
We
right.
have knocked this out here so they can put in this water line so they, you know, don't
Right.
have hoop dip. But all the water is designed to go east.
east.
Yeah. And then I'd like to eliminate, you see that little curved one in there? I'd like to eliminate that one.
But will we better having the water go east instead of go this way?
Yes, that's a natural flow. You have to.
East?
East.
Okay, so.
Surprisingly, yeah.
So you knock those down to put that, you gotta build them back up.
We will, but I don't think these really do much. We're not real sure why they're there. I think there's 3 in there. We would retain the one closest to that building. And it's actually designed, what water comes off there goes over to the other, because there's that culvert under the road now. When they did the elevations, yeah, the flow is to the east, till you get down in this area,
Down
so,
in, right in here.
yeah. They just wanted to guarantee that there wasn't any more water flow coming this way from the expansion of the hangars and the runway and everything like that, so.
Well, I guess a smarter move might be to go ahead and come in the way they're coming in now, go ahead and improve this road and angle it up. Like Roger said, it'd probably be the cheapest, and we'll just hope that we don't have any problem or congestion or anything else up there.
And it
But
could
we
always
can
be
always come
moved.
back and
Yeah,
redo
you
it.
can, if it turns out to be a huge problem,
And if we got a problem, we'll fix it.
yeah,
But this is the cheap one right here.
Yep.
yeah, I can see that.
Is it gonna be paved or is it just gonna be dirt and gravel?
What I'm gonna, well, if I do it, I'm gonna utilize that material that we have stockpiled up there. We'll probably put some elevation on it, and then go ahead and put this material up there. Build that up with it, because there's a lot of good stone in there.
Does Devin have any, does he have any preferences of what he wants up there?
No, not really. He just concerned right now getting the
Getting
addressing. Yeah, and getting there. I mean, they're using that kind of wiggly trail, but I just see him straighten it out and make it a nice straight.
So can you name that something, I'm not saying it needs Airport Drive, but on the back side, the south side of the rest home and that angle, can all be named the same road?
Yes, they can. You know, like a lot of cities will kind of curve into that, and that's what we was
We
hoping
just
to
need
do.
one street.
One street, I think
Which
so.
is this street here?
See, they're still calling this South Denison, even though the city doesn't claim ownership of it.
Well, John Grace kind of built that airport. Be kind of a tribute to him.
But I don't know that you want to go, because we got the John Grace Field here.
Okay.
That's the reason I'm afraid you're going to confuse them then.
See, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought of that too. So, even thought of like Cessna Drive or something like
So are
that.
you talking changing the name from the highway all the way up or just?
Just that,
Just
starting at that
east.
east-west point. Sorry, maybe you wanted to,
No, I can see
Okay.
Terry's,
yeah, it would be the east-west street
I was just
and then
making
going
sure
that
you
way.
weren't changing the street name for the village stuff.
No.
Yeah, that
no,
would really
it's-
cause problems.
It's staying the same.
Grace's probably have an address too. I wonder if that even goes clear up there to for their address.
Theirs is, I think it's 920 South Denison. Yep.
Okay, so that is Denison all the way up to the office.
I believe that's correct.
Well, I'm like Roger, I still like the shorter route, the cheaper route for now. Give it a try, we'll
It's
see.
not, we can always come back in the
Yeah.
other way.
Yeah. Or to do this one. That's the reason we wanted rather do this one first, but, it's kind of confusing. I know they can use this route also, but
Okay.
But if Grace's don't want to forfeit, that's the other thing.
You're gonna have to go the other way then. probably.
Yeah, because see, they actually, I think their lease area comes out to about here and then across, in case they'd ever want to put a hangar there. But
This is the area they're talking about another hangar.
possible, if they'd ever wish to or something. And it's also designed where you can have several hangars, on this, when they extend this taxiway. That's kind of where I drew this in, is this is the taxiway right now, so.
They're wanting to build another hangar on out here, aren't they?
I've heard rumors of that, so.
So if
So
I,
then that road's gonna have to do something. I don't know how
This
Dave's
could
gonna
be-
get to his area. Unless Dave just goes
He's
this
going
way.
around this way on the backside of
Is he?
Evans, yeah.
I have a question on that project. Dave told me a couple days ago that they're not going up College, they're gonna go through past. I'm just wondering about shared maintenance on those village roads with all that extra traffic.
We talked about it, we haven't come to any conclusions
Okay,
yet,
as long
but,
as I'm just concerned.
Yeah.
You know our budget.
yeah. Well, yeah, I do.
Nobody wants.
But apparently the city has said, no, we're not doing anything up there. So that kind of leaves it to us. Yeah.
So first off, I need to find out an answer of Grace. If he wants to retain that, I think the road will automatically be here. And I think we'll still probably call that street the same then, if that's all right with you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You name it.
You
Huh?
name it. That way we can blame it on you.
There you go. You got to have someone to blame in there, right?
Fleming Avenue.
No, I don't think so.
Fleming Drive.
No. No, I don't believe so.
let him name it, it'll be Faulkner Avenue.
Could I have like 10 minutes to discuss legal issues, executive session?
How much time?
10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So move.
A second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
And he's talked to the county attorney, he just needs to fill you in a little more.
Okay, that was gonna be my very first question.